Episode 35 starts with this undercooked bacon for Belle. Harrison set up a little date. Lucinda's telling the girls that she told Sean that she loved him. He told her first, but then she didn't say it right away. It was the next day, I think, and then she told him that she loved him. Sean is telling, I think Harrison is who he's talking to about how he's just annoyed at Scott being in his business or always having an opinion about his business, which I don't blame him. So Scott gets a text and it's saying that the public gets to, or they get to ask the public two questions, one about their couple and one about another couple. Scott and Leanne are deciding what their questions are. Their first question, or the question, I can't remember what their question was about them, but there's one coming up about Belle. No, that was it. Their first question was, he said that will he be in? He wanted to know if the public thought he'd be in Belle's DMs. Now, initially, when they said that, I didn't think anything was wrong with the question. I thought it was kind of funny, like lighthearted, like they did. Leanne said she didn't have a question, so she kind of let Scott take that one. Sean and Lucinda are going to ask if they should get married, and they just laugh. These two are made for each other. They're so goofy. So everyone was discussing their questions, and then Millie gets a text saying that the girls get to get glammed up. So they're all sitting down for it's time for the game to start. Well, they're having dinner, and they're talking about their questions, and they're like, "Is anybody worried about what the questions are?" And Belle said, "Just remember, we're all friends, and we'll get through this," which she likes to say that until it's something she doesn't like, and then but I guess she's entitled to feel the way she feels. But yeah. So Sammy and Kieran asked their first question about themselves is, have we been tested enough as a couple? And the public said 59% yes, 41% no. Whitney and Yaman, do they think their relationship could last long distance? 61% yes, 39% no. Are Tommy and Jess well suited? 27% yes, 73% no. Lucinda and Whitney were bugging me a lot during this because they kept chiming in. I feel like they're trying to produce this little segment dinner segment, but Lucinda was trying to give them reassurance, and I just feel like after every couple got whatever their answers were, Lucinda especially kept chiming in. So to Lucinda and Sean's question, will they get married? The public 25% no, or 25% yes, 75% no. It was funny because Sean was like, it was a long shot, and Lucinda laughed about it, so they found it funny. Bell and Harrison said, has the young bull finally been tamed? 22% yes, 78% no. Absolutely not. Zach and Millie asked if Zach likes Millie as much as Millie likes Zach, and it was 44% yes, 56% no. So it was time for the whole Scott DM Bell situation. And it was 25% yes, 75% no. And when they posed this question to everyone, and they were like, or when they just announced what their question was, everybody initially laughed, and then all of a sudden it turned into something else. And Scott was like, I'll apologize. For it to be I didn't mean anything bad, but I was supposed to be lighthearted. And Belle wasn't having it. And she said, you did that to embarrass me. And then they got into this big argument, as usual. And she said, you meant to embarrass me. And he said, you did that to embarrass Leanne. I don't think she did it to embarrass Leanne, but I don't think she thought of Leanne's feelings when she made that comment. So my thing is, you put that comment out there, Belle. You did. You said it. And I think you said it without thinking, but you do that a lot. She's pissed at it. I think her feelings are hurt or she's embarrassed. But again, you said it. You can't say just like she told Scott, you say things and then you try to, when you don't like the response, you try to back your way out of it. I mean, she does the same thing, but they did say they're a lot alike. But I don't think she's realizing what's going on in this situation. Like, there wouldn't be anything to discuss had you not said that. I mean, that's kind of, she said it wasn't towards Leanne, it was towards Scott, but you didn't think of Leanne's feelings when you said that. That was kind of messed up thing to say. So then it came to the questions that they had to ask the public about the other Islanders. So the first question was Millie and Zach, and they said, is Scott coming across as a game player? It was 47% yes, 53% no. People think Scott's playing games because he's been on the most shows. Harrison and Bell, same thing, or sort of. It said, is Scott here for genuine reasons? The public said 59% said yes, 41% said no. Sean and Lucinda asked the public if, I think they asked this one, is Jess playing it safe by picking Tommy? 83% yes, 17% no. Jess is shocked. Tommy's looks hurt, or he looks annoyed, but I think he was more hurt. Yeah, he was hurt. So Whitney and Yeaman did this question to the public, and it was, do you think Scott's made the right decision choosing Leanne over Belle? And it was 76% yes, 24% no. Scott didn't really like that question, and neither did Leanne. They were, but Whitney was saying she just wanted clarity for Scott because everybody had been considering Leanne and Belle's feelings, but nobody considered Scott's feelings. Leanne said she didn't like the fact that it was like she had to be chosen, and Scott said he didn't need clarity. He didn't appreciate the question. Lucinda piped up again, and to be honest, I don't even remember what she was talking about. Whitney, I think, noticed that Scott didn't appreciate the question, and she said, it was clarity for you. And she said, thanks, you're welcome. Like, she just doesn't really, I feel like she doesn't take accountability for the things she says that affect people. I mean, she just says what she says and she stands on it, which, okay, she stands behind what she says, but I just think she likes to talk just to talk. And yeah. So Scott and Leanne, their question was it too soon for Sean and Lucinda to make it official? Which Scott needs to give this a rest. And he was like, well, if it wasn't, then if it's more yes, then you guys maybe should think more logically. If not, I should think more with my heart. Whatever they do has nothing to do with you. And in the beginning, Scott was saying that he was talking, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he was saying how Sean making Lucinda his girlfriend had everybody else kind of thinking, should I be doing this? No, I think maybe it had you thinking that, because I just don't understand why he's so invested in their relationship. So Sammy brought up the pie thing again, which I was like, "Oh, come on, Sammy, enough is enough." But she did say she just wanted clarity if she was overreacting, because Lucinda kept saying she was overreacting. So she asked the public if she was overreacting, and of course, Lucinda didn't want to deal with the question at all. It was 63%. Yeah, yes. Lucinda took it too far. 37% no. Lucinda did not like that at all, and she didn't want to deal with it or take accountability for it. I mean, that's the public's perception. She says she didn't mean much by it, but I remember that episode, and I did feel like she took it a little too far. So while Lucinda was trying to explain how it wasn't a big deal and she really didn't care, Sammy, and she was like, you know what I mean? And Sammy's like, no, I never know what you mean. And Sammy was telling her feelings were hurt. So that the whole thing with Sammy is her feelings were hurt. And Lucinda kept acting like nothing happened. So I kind of get where Sammy's coming from. So the next question is Tommy, and he did say he didn't. If he had known all these questions were going to be for Leanne and Scott, he would have chose a different one. But anyway, his question was, is Scott holding back from making Leanne his girlfriend because he doesn't want to? That was crazy. Scott was like, dang, Tommy. Because that just didn't seem like anything he would say or ask. It was 43% yes, 57% no. And they were like, well, 57% no, that's good, right? And here comes Lucinda piping in. All of a sudden, that's not good enough. That's still too close, and everybody's making it seem like it's a good thing.